From GW, it's 150.
Is it?
Yeah.
I got it from GW because I thought it was out of stock everywhere.
Well, everywhere was sold out, and then all of a sudden everyone got it. But the benefit is the best version.
Yeah. Joe's a Drukhari player again, chat.
Yeah.
Just as an FYI. I've bought him a second Real Space Raiders box for the channel Drukhari army, and now what he's doing is talking me into buying him a third one.
Such good value.
He gets another Real Space Raiders box. So
and then, like I said, all I need to do is buy a box of Scourges, and then Raiders Ravagers done. And then I'll be Archon Joe. And I'll wear a big pointy hat.
Don't make promises.
Yeah.
I've seen you in your pointy hat.
Yeah. It's more of a hood.
Yeah. When you're hanging out with Adam.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back to the Liam and Joe show. Yes, I'm sorry, we're back at the table. I'm going to be honest, I'll hold my hands up here and be completely honest, because I know the last two times I've said I haven't really built anything. The reason why we're at the table is because I'm getting in late each time because work is kicking my ass downstairs and other things I've got to do at the moment. And moving everything over to the seats takes 15, 20 minutes that I often don't have. So we'll do it again soon. What was happening was me and my brother were coming in and doing the football show on Sunday night, and I was moving it all over there on Sunday when I had some time.
Yeah.
So when we came in on a Tuesday and I came in late and hot, it was fine, I was already set up. But then I cancelled the last two football shows. So we have.
No one cares about football.
But also, Joe's like, I want to build more models.
Dead sport, isn't it?
What?
Football.
No.
It's all about Quidditch now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be here for that.
That's what the kids are playing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, on their fake brooms running around.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've also seen the show jumping. Have you seen that one? Brilliantly hilarious.
But like, they dress up as horses as well.
What?
Like the pony people.
What's the pony
The
people?
pony play.
All I've seen...
There's a subcategory of it on the hub.
All I've seen is people running around on broomstick horses doing show jumping.
That's different, yeah.
And that was, I mean, it was still embarrassing, Joe, for them, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But it is a thing. It is a thing that I've seen.
I used to be a horse rider. Horse.
Is there a punchline?
No, I had a horse. And everything, yeah. And I did part of the pony club, I was. Yeah. And a peanut, it was called Peanut, my pony.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. I grew up in the country.
Oh, right, fair.
Yeah. And then
I grew up in the country. I didn't have a fucking horse.
Yeah, but then I decided I didn't really care for horses anymore, mainly because they were fucking everywhere. So I got a quad bike instead.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much more
My ex had horses.
Yeah.
She used to do show jumping and cross country.
Yeah. You dodged a bullet. Horses are just so expensive. You save so much more money by doing Warhammer instead.
I mean, probably, yeah. She had two horses and a pony in stables, and it was not cheap.
No.
To be fair. And then she would do show jumping, which also wasn't cheap in itself. And the horse was this fucking great big powerhouse thing as well.
The problem is like the concept of like horses like having to wake up at like stupid o'clock in the morning as well. To like in the winter, owning a horse is like the worst thing ever. Because like you have to go out in the cold and clean poo.
I mean, you have to do that anyway, don't you?
No. I have a servant for that. Clean my bum.
A manservant. My glue is dry again. Why is it dry? I didn't use this one last week. Anyway, team. Today, I wasn't really sure what we would talk about. There's not a lot of news going on in the world of Warhammer 40k specifically at the moment.
I saw you were slagging off the
gobbo.
The goblin.
When they did one of them ages ago, I was like, cool. It's a cute little model, fine. Now they're doing one a year, and I'm like, is this worth the development time?
Yeah.
No,
I really like him. He's like...
As I discussed before we went on air, Joe, I literally think they could shit on a sprue, and you'd be like, cool, I like it.
Yeah, and I said, as long as it's plastic.
Yeah, Joe would watch his space games. Joe would like
little
poo.
poos that I can put onto bases of like Nurgle models. You know, I just think like he is the Christmas counterpart to the White Dwarf, isn't he? Because they do a White Dwarf model every year.
I'm just not that bothered by it.
He's just like a fun little side bit, you know. I think it's really cool. We've got two. I want to get this one because I've got the last two in the box still.
Oh,
What?
I didn't know you wanted him.
Oh. Did you say no?
I might have been like not fucking interested.
Such a grump. You're just so miserable.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We didn't really have much to talk about. So we were sat having a conversation before the show went live, and we talked about Warhammer Worlds this time round. What? What are you laughing at already?
Such a bitch.
Why?
Carry on.
Warhammer Worlds this time round.
Yeah, but only because I gave you a piece of news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not mentioning that news.
Yeah, all right, cool. I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if that news is supposed to be confidential, but anyway, carry on.
Yeah, but the bit that I'm about to talk about is not confidential.
I know, but then people will know.
No, they won't.
Okay. I'm sure they will.
Warhammer Worlds, the bit about Warhammer Worlds is not behind an NDA, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Warhammer Worlds, which is coming up soon. Joe's attending at the start of next month, excitedly going over to America Land.
Atlanta.
All by himself.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Like a big boy.
I know.
Warhammer Worlds this time round has banned dropping from the event.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to drop from the event.
No.
So there's 8 games. You're playing AOS 8 games. Is 40k the same?
40k is the same. So Thursday, 2 games. So there's 2 games a day. They're 4-hour rounds, which is madness in my eyes.
No, that's lovely. By the way, I'm going to add this caveat here now. 8 games over 4 days, 2 games a day, like Joe says, 4 hours. I think that sounds a little bit like Warhammer Heaven. I don't have to cram in 2 games in an afternoon with minimal 50-minute break in between time. I'm not going to be mentally exhausted at the end of each day because I'm only playing 2 games. I think it sounds fucking wonderful as an experience.
I'm sure it is, but I'm like, who needs I've watched when you watch games that literally go full to time. I'm like, how have you?
Yeah, but Joe, that's because you go.
I'm like, how have you made this game last that long? I'm just like.
So Worlds is coming up, right? They've banned,
maybe that's the reason why I don't win so many events.
They've banned dropping from the event. You can't drop from the event. You're not allowed to drop from the event. And that's probably because lots of people are spending a lot of time, effort and money to go over to the US to play in these events. And I'm sure they don't want an individual's experience ruined by the fact that someone perhaps drops halfway through. There are obviously legitimate reasons for dropping, but what we're seeing in the competitive space, or what we've seen in the competitive space, and this isn't just new to 10th edition, I saw this quite a lot over 9th edition when I used to run a lot of events, used to run a lot of tournaments, is we're seeing, do we call it tactical dropping? I don't know if we call it tactical dropping, but what I mean, like either I've lost and I definitely can't win, so I'm going to drop, or I've even seen people that have won all 3 games on the first day. The pairings have been drawn that night. They've seen who they're paired into. They've looked at the fact they probably can't win that game, and they still dropped despite the fact they're on 3-0.
Yeah.
And that can have a knock-on impact. It can impact the event. It can impact other people's experiences. It can impact things like strength of schedule if that's being used as a metric. There's lots of reasons why dropping can be quite bad. There's obviously legitimate reasons to drop. There's legitimate reasons where you've come down with a stomach bug and you're incredibly unwell, or your child got run over by Joe's horse. There's lots of legitimate reasons as to why you could drop from an event. But what we're seeing is people dropping because I can't win, or I'm not going to win, or I'm going to lose, or whatever.
The thing is, but also the opposite is true, right? So some events, some people don't tactical drop at the start of the event, but they'll come late, right? So a lot of events now, Games Workshop events, don't do the pairings until everyone is there and logged in.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Because what they saw happening was the pairings would go up the day before, right? Because sometimes it's nice to see what the pairing is, get like a little tactical plan going, you know, like figure out what kind of army it is your opponent runs. I quite like that as well. I think it's cool, and you can have like it's like a conversation creator within group chats. But sometimes what would happen is that some people would get unfavourable matchups that they didn't want to do, so they'd turn up late. So what would happen is because they weren't there, their opponents would get paired into someone else whose opponent didn't turn up. And then these people would turn up late and then get paired into someone else. Or if they came with their mates, they might just get paired into their mates, round 1, which ultimately might also be more favourable for them. It's a very sad way of playing the system, really, ultimately.
But it is a little bit, isn't it, if we're honest with ourselves?
Yeah.
It is a little tragic. that's you only like surely if you want to win an event, if you want to be declared as the best, if that's the thing you care about, then the best way to do that is by beating the best. So if you then end up manipulating the pairings in such a way to try and get yourself a favourable outcome in terms of who you play, well then surely you can't then logically stand up at the end and go, I won because I'm the best. Because like, well, only because you skipped that pairing.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people that do this kind of stuff don't care about how they got to the top.
You reckon?
Right. It's by being able to say that they got there is enough.
But this is my point, right? So exactly. So this is what I'm saying. So by being able to say that they got there is a boast. Yeah. The idea is they want to be able to publicly boast about being at the top or at the best, right? And if they're publicly boasting about being top or best, surely they do care about that perception. So if they go, I'm the best, and someone goes, yeah, but... Yeah, you want to be able to remove that point though, right? Surely.
Yeah. Oh, ideally. But I think a lot of people would be like, just argue the point, wouldn't they? They'd be like, yeah, but this happened and this happened. That's where they come excuses, kind of.
Yeah, my child got run over by Joe's horse.
Yeah. Where's my horse getting all the...
But what got me thinking is I've been to a bunch of events. I've been to events abroad. I went to New Retreat twice. I went to Legends, New Retreat Legends. I've done a bunch of tournaments across the country here over the course of the last 3 or 4 editions. Not as many as perhaps I'd like. Definitely not as many as people like Joe have been to be fair. But I always go just expecting to enjoy myself. I don't go with I need to win 5, I need to win 4, I need to win... I don't even go with I need to have 3 and 2.
Yeah.
I just go with I'm going to play. If I win, I win. If I don't win, I don't win. I want to have a good time. I want to make sure my opponent has a good time. I want to make sure we just laugh a bit and drink a beer.
Yeah.
And that's all I really care about. And I think, and I don't know if you agree, Jay, but I think over the course of the last 2 to 3 editions, caring about winning has become almost too important to the overall experience of Warhammer. And I think that the fact that now a Worlds tournament has to say, ran by Games Workshop, supposedly, arguably the most prestigious event now in the Warhammer calendar, the World Finals, and they have to now put a ruling out that says you can't drop.
Yeah.
Isn't that just a little bit sad? Do you not think?
I
think it is.
I think so, but I think like I think like the world itself within the realms of gaming has become ultra competitive and being the best.
Okay.
Right? That I obviously I helped create the problem in the beginning.
Right. Well,
I
think it was. I think I'm going to hold my hands up and say that I think it was different back then. I think there was a focus, and I'd argue that the business you're about to talk about it still pushes at least the same focus. It's not about being the best and winning everything. It's the message, supposedly, whether the actions meet the message.
The dream that is Rome.
Yeah, whether the actions meet the message is very different. But the message was about improving.
Yeah, being just everyone going to events and having a good time and about being a good sportsman, right? And that's ultimately what we want. But I think the desire to win is a bit much for people. So I blame the parents, right? There was a period of time.
I blame the parents.
I blame the parents, where basically we grew up in a time period where if you want to win, you got to put in the hard work, and if you lose, you lost. Get over it, right? And we kind of grew up like everything has to be earned, you know. And then after us, there was a long period of time where it's everyone's a winner. You know, that there are no first prizes, everyone gets participation, right? But I think we're getting to a period now where the always winning by participating people are like, well, actually, no, I want to win. I want recognition, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be seen as the best. So we see it all the time in gaming where people are like, what's the best controller settings? What's the best screen settings? What's the best weapon loadout? What's the best starting kit? What lanes do I need to hold to win this game? Everyone's looking for the best ways to win and be the best at their thing. And I think, and we live in this world now of social media and blah, and needing to stand out, right? So in our hobby, on social media, on the internet, on the YouTubes, just doing the thing isn't enough to be recognised.
Yeah.
Right? Winning the thing is the only way to be recognised, right? And I think a lot of people are, it doesn't matter how I win it, as long as I can do a picture of me and a trophy, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't it make you sad, though?
Oh, it really makes me sad. Because I think a lot of people nowadays are missing the point of the hobby.
Which is where I'm going with this whole topic.
It's just a case of a lot of people in our hobby don't care about the lore or the models. They just see a playing piece that represents a group of numbers on a page, right? And they found a game system that they understand, and by picking the right pieces of plastic that have the right numbers attached helps them win, right? And that's not everyone, you know. There's people that are winning events and tournaments with the most beautifully built and painted armies.
Yeah.
You know, they're most caring about every single aspect. I'm not saying it's every competitive player, but the ones that acquire the most notoriety.
There's people out there that it is possible that you get hyper competitive players who also exemplify the hobby. In fact, I would argue that the best players out there are actually still pretty good at the hobby anyway, and it's that little group of people that sits just below the top players. Now, you're building Drukhari, right? There's a guy out there called Paulie, who both Joe and I know, who is, what's his name, Sky Serpent?
Sky Serpent, yeah.
And he's got the Real Space Raiders podcast?
Yeah.
Cool, I got that right. I thought that's what it was.
I helped start that, just saying.
Paulie is a wonderful human being and has been to many events and won best painted for his army.
Yeah.
Because his army is gorgeous. He has done an incredible amount of conversion work. He's done an incredible amount of kit bashing. He's really made a unique army. I met him at No Retreat, and if you know No Retreat, you typically had to have pretty painted armies or very well done armies to be able to go there in the first place, just to be invited. And Paulie has won painting awards, right? So it is possible that you can, Joe's right, it's not everybody. There are people out there that can love the hobby and be competitive, but there is just this focus at the moment on, and I think, chicken and egg situation, who started it? Was it the community or was it Games Workshop?
The problem is, right, I think for as long as I can remember, there's always been a schism in our hobby between competitive and narrative.
Don't you think that schism's got bigger though? I feel like in the last three editions it's got bigger.
So there's the concept within in YouTube is the bigger you get, the more negative comments you get. The more people that hate you.
Well, thankfully we're tiny.
Yeah, but
and we get loads of fucking hate anyway.
Yeah. So, but the case is, right, in our hobby, the bigger it gets and the more people it attracts, the more it will attract new players and new different types of personalities. And they're not always going to be good personalities, right? I think it's important that they do come, right? Because in the face of adversity and negative comments and talk within the community, I think it helps us see the value in the good stuff.
Okay.
Right? But also I think it helps Games Workshop go, this is what we don't want to encourage, this is what we do want to encourage.
I think that ship is currently turning.
Yeah.
So I think my opinion is that it kind of swayed hard or swung hard towards competitive play.
He's beautiful, by the way.
The Archon. Joe's getting to build much prettier models than me, so no, I want to see him.
He's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you logged into Element?
Am I logged into Element?
Yeah.
Not currently, no. Do you want to have a look in a minute?
I was going to say, is the person over in the corner, just go and add to cart, press buy.
No, that's not how that works. So I think Games Workshop, over the course of 8th, 9th and 10th edition, swung hard towards servicing the competitive crowd. And I'm getting a feeling at the moment, and maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to know what you guys think in chat. This is definitely a reason to stick it on a postcard and send it in to us. I definitely feel like they're starting to course correct a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like the codexes that we've had more recently have been a lot more narrative focused, a little bit less power creep.
What I do want to say that I do like about competitive play, and I do think it's important that we realise it as a community, is that competitive play helps reinforce and bring in both balance and standardisation. And
balance is an interesting one I want to talk about in a minute. Carry on.
Not complete balance. If we look at things, I like to have a game. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But what it helps do is Games Workshop find a system that is easy to learn, easy to play, and it doesn't matter what language you speak. I reckon if two people that never met from different countries that don't speak the same language could, in theory, play a game of Warhammer 40k or Age of Sigmar without actually really conversing.
Yeah, but that's, I mean...
Right, and that's the important part for Games Workshop. They want a game that is a universal language in itself.
Okay.
And by having competitive play, you have literally hundreds of events played every weekend across the planet with thousands of people that gives you data. And with that data, you can manage your game. Because when people play at home or they do narrative events that aren't recorded, nothing is learned. Nothing is gained as a business or helping people balance the book. So if we didn't have competitive play, everything was narrative, everything was fun, right? No one would be recording anything, and books that go out broken and shit would never get fixed because Games Workshop wouldn't have the data to back it up. Because the data is there, they can do the monthly update, right? But also with the monthly updates comes a rotation of what is good and what is bad, and that brings variety into the game itself, which I think is massively
There's
important.
got to be a different way of doing it, though. There has to be another way. I don't know what that way is.
I think, right, I've said it before, be the change you want to see, right? If you want to see more narrative events, you have to be the ones that run them. And I think people complain loads about competitive players. Games Workshop only complains about competitive. There's never any narrative events, right? Run your own. Because running a narrative fun event is 100 times harder than running a competitive event.
Exactly.
Both in organisation, pairings, and having a physical place to run it, but also the terrain requirements. Because narrative requires twice to 3 times the amount of terrain that you'd use as
Which I don't think anyone would have a problem with any of those things you just said,
and
if they thought that when they run a narrative tournament, they'd sell it out.
Yeah.
But they don't. And so everyone's like, oh, I really want a narrative tournament. And someone puts a load of time and effort into building a super fucking in-detailed narrative tournament that has narrative aspects to it. And then 3 people show up, one of which has bought his most competitive Towless because he just wants to kill everyone.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, this is the problem that the world has in our community. People ask for stuff, people supply it, no one turns up. Where are the people that are asking for it in the first place? You've been provided the thing that you want, why aren't you using it?
But then at the same time, like I say, you'll get...
That requires me to spend my money and do a load of work.
But this is the thing, right? So that is part of the problem, I agree. You also then have the issue where you've advertised your narrative event, you've made sure everyone knows it's super narrative, it's all about being narrative, it's all about storytelling, it's all about character development and story arcs, and then someone turns up with the most competitive, I don't know, 1,000 Suns list they can possibly bring up with as many mortal wounds as they can spam. Because what they know then is they go, well, I get to go and beat up a load of narrative players.
But whose fault is that?
What do you mean whose
So
fault?
whose fault is that a person turned up?
Well, there's a number of blame places, isn't there? You can blame the person who's turned up to a narrative event and behave that way. You can blame the event for allowing him to turn up and behave that way.
Yeah.
You can blame the rule set. You can blame the core rule set of the game for allowing it to be a thing that can happen.
What? That an army is competitive?
That an army just has
good.
the capacity to blow another army off the table. So we live in a place at the moment with 40k, and I don't know whether I think this is good or bad, but we live in a place at the moment with 40k. If I built my most narrative fun, I don't know, Space Marine list, and you bought your most competitive, what's the most competitive army you play at the moment?
Probably Templars.
Templar list, cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. Then you just beat me.
What army you bringing? Narrative. Well, the thing
My
is,
most narrative, fluffy, I don't know,
well,
Tyrannid.
The problem, yeah, well, Tyrannid is a bad example because Tyranids are fucking shit at the moment.
It's a great example, isn't it?
But the thing is, though, the problem is that the Tyranid book is way too balanced for the rules that we currently have. Because Tyranids live on a knife edge of being broken and good. But the thing is, though, right, we can't place all the blame on Games Workshop.
No, we can't.
Right.
But
that is what you're doing. I'm being deliberately argumentative with you, but the point is, I'm trying to put this across to the internet, is that we can't blame Games Workshop for everything.
But my point remains that the rule set has been the way we play right now has been dialed into a place where it's about scoring points and winning. That's it.
But that's what it's always been.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
Not really.
Every game of Warhammer is based on it's about scoring points and there being a winner and a loser.
But there was things where you could be up against it. There's previous missions where you could be up against it. You could be getting absolutely battered. You could be losing, but you still had a chance to win.
Yeah,
there's
so
games at the
it's
moment.
still about winning and losing.
Yeah, but still, my point remains. Like, there's a story that can be told there. Whether you've got to secure some relic or like now, what it is by turn 3, I've got 50 points and you've got 5 points. You're not going to win now. Done.
But the reason why is that's balanced, right? Because in missions, like I'm glad you said, missions like the Relic, right? That there's armies that just won it. There's just like Eldar won the Relic at like 9.99999% of the time because they go one character moves fucking 12, 14 inches, grabs the Relic, and then fucks off.
Exactly. That's why I want to keep playing the Relic, Joe.
Right? Or end of game scoring. So you just go, cool, my entire army is really resilient. I'll just chill. Like, basically, Paddy would have thrived in 6th and 7th edition. Sit in your deployment zone for 5 turns. Turn 6, move on to every objective on the table, win. I always found that 6th or 7th edition was fuck around for 5 turns, and the person that fucked around the least won.
I like fucking around.
The reason why the game is like it is because it's good for everyone.
Is it? I don't know if the game is currently good for narrative people.
But
I don't think it is.
Right. I'm going to say something I've said a million times on this channel. That the narrative has to be done not just by Games Workshop, but by the people at home. And as I've said a million times, the people at home are woefully lacking in imagination. Because...
Sorry, people at home.
Right. The reason why a lot of narrative stuff has failed by Games Workshop is because they've created a rule system, they've created the books, they've created the stuff, right? And they've gone, here you go, take your armies and go play fun narrative games. And then people go and play those fun narrative games. They're like, well, who should go first? Who should go second? Like, how many more models should die? Like, they're like, no, you use your imaginations. And they're like, I don't have an imagination. Or, like you said, they put the narrative stuff out there, they put the narrative campaign books out there, and what happens is people go to these crusade events, they go to these narrative events, and just game the system to win anyway. And that's not Games Workshop's fault. It's just people being dickheads, right? So when you run the fun narrative stuff, there needs to be an overarching DM, a dungeon master, if you
Dungeon
will,
master.
of an event of your group to maintain and manage the narrative part of everything. Because Games Workshop can't supply a piece of, they can't supply a member of staff to manage every single game and event for you.
Why not? Lazy.
They wouldn't make any.
Lazy, Joe.
They wouldn't make more money.
I'd love to know what you guys think about this anyway. I think that, so the hobby for me, the game itself is just literally the tabletop game itself has always been about more than just winning. It's been about trying to tell a story and do something. And I feel like even I've lost that over the course of the last 2 or 3 editions where it's turn up, play a game of Pariah Nexus or a game of Leviathan or a game of Chapter Approved, not really try and tell a story.
But what?
When I played against your orcs, when I played Ultramarines of the day and you played your pig list,
Yeah.
I was like, I need to take down the 3 kill rigs. I'll give myself a task at that point. And I thoroughly enjoyed just trying to kill the 3 kill rigs.
But the thing is, though, is that you'd given the mission to yourself to do it. Right. That wasn't even a narrative game. That was just us fucking around.
Yeah, but I had fun.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about winning necessarily. It was about killing some big pigs. And I had fun doing that. And I think that there's some of that's gone from the game a little bit. And I feel like, I don't know, But
the thing is, though, everyone can play that game. They just have to control themselves.
What do you mean control themselves?
So we played a game here with the rules given to us by Games Workshop, the books that are given to us by Games Workshop, and the models that are given to us by Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And we set up a nice table. I say
No,
we was royal me.
You
was
set
royal
up.
me. I set up a nice
I
table.
won't take credit for
and I
stuff
bought a
I've done.
dumb list, and we just had a stupid fun time.
It was a great game.
But everyone has the capacity to do that.
And this is what I'm trying, this is why I'm doing the show. This is what I'm trying to encourage.
Yeah, it's that the people at home. It's not the competitive player's fault. It's your fault.
I mean, I was about to ask them to start gifting again, Joe. That wasn't the right time. I don't think.
No, but no, I was gonna say is that if you want to have fun and play that way, you have to do it yourself. Ultimately,
there's a lot I've seen over the course of the last year. I mean, and maybe this isn't a naivety on my part as well, but like having people that show up to games with like base coated minis with 3 paints on them. I've seen that a lot over the last few years, a few editions.
But
is that something that's always been a problem?
Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah. But like,
I'm asking because I legitimately don't know.
I have seen some really nice models and some really shit models. But like I said, the more people that play, the more people it pulls in. And there are going to be a lot of people that aren't very good at painting. So they do their best and their army still looks shit. But they're proud of what they've done, right? And they might have literally spent the last year and a half building and painting that army to the best of their standard. They put it on a table. And I look at it and be like, did you paint that last night? They're like, no, I tried really hard. And I'm like, and then I say, you should be ashamed. And then I hit them. I don't.
Fair.
Yeah. I strike them.
That's what you should expect when you come to Hobby
I
House.
pull out a leather glove from my pocket.
If your army isn't good enough, Joe will come around and strike you.
Yeah. So that there are people that just aren't top level painters. Obviously, there are people that go, I bought this army 2 days ago because the internet tells me it's the best, and then they just do it that way. But then there's some people who are in the financial position where they don't have the time to build and paint an army, so they'll just pay someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
You can, in fact, go and pay someone else to paint your army.
Yeah.
And they might use that money to start trademarking things.
Yeah, they're all the same. They're all the same. Where the fuck is that supposed to get?
I'm in a bad mood today.
Yeah. But no, I think like we just I think we need to take some ownership as a community on the winning losing thing and just be honest about stuff. A lot of the bad reputations for a lot of people comes from the lack of honesty as well. Like why did you quit quit this event, and I just want to go home. I can't win it, so I'm just going to go home.
Yeah, I just
don't make up some cock and bull story about like oh my nan crashed her hoverboard.
Yeah,
just like, again.
God damn that hoverboard tech.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, honestly, I just think that over the course of the last 3 editions, 40k specifically. And I will maintain that this is 40k specifically. Over the course of the last 3 editions, I think that there's a focus shift, and the focus shift has been on win, 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 win.
Yeah.
Rather than enjoy myself. And I often see people winning at the cost of even enjoying themselves, because it becomes so focused on points and winning and scoring that they take non-narrative lists, units they don't care about, models they don't want to build. And they've kind of lost the wonder that is the universe of Warhammer 40k. What I find is quite interesting is you see similar groups of people playing an Age of Sigmar event, very different vibe.
Yeah.
Very different vibe. And this is where, I get what you're saying about not being able to necessarily blame Games Workshop, but this is where you've got then 2 products from the same company that somehow achieve different results. And competitive Age of Sigmar is a thing. It exists.
Yeah.
But people seem to care a lot more about their factions and care more about their armies.
They do, but like there are competitive AOS players out there, like the 40k crowd, that's like, well, I'll just get the minimum colours and I'll just take what's good. One of the best cities of the Cities of Sigmar list that was basically just dominating everyone for a long time was literally like 4 or 5 command squads and then associated marshal to go with it, and then just a fuckload of cannons.
Is there a problem?
It didn't really represent an army at all. It was just, how do I put the best rules on the table?
Does anybody out there know if Heresy suffers from this problem, or is Heresy kind of more just a narrative?
I think Heresy benefits from being a futuristic historical game.
But this is what, so again, there's another gaming system where people are more focused on playing narrative and having fun. So
but
I
they
would
do
argue,
also have very competitive stuff.
Do they?
Yeah, you can't. Like, it doesn't matter what game you play. The people will make it competitive. Whatever your best intentions are, people will make a competitive version on it, right? I think that's just unavoidable today.
You're probably right.
Like people will just find a way to gamble on it, or
it's like I was looking at on the wonderful illuminating website that is Twitter over the last few days.
God, why do you go on Twitter?
So Twitter's fantastic for football news.
I like that you still call it Twitter.
I refuse to call it X. It's a bollocks name.
No, it's the porn name. It truly represents what it is now.
Twitter is great for football news. It's also pretty good for the video gaming community as well. And I'm seeing a ton of people that are previous COD creators whinging about Battlefield 6 because they can't laser beam someone from across the map and kill them in half a second.
Or the skins aren't colourful enough.
Yeah, I don't like this bloom thing, which means that I might not... and I'm like, what happened to... Again, video games, same difference, right? What happened to just playing to have fun and enjoy yourself rather than I must win everything all the time or I'm not enjoying myself? And I don't get it. Like sports, of course, the end goal of sports is to win. The end goal of video games is to win. The end goal of tabletop war games is to win. But I feel like we're forgetting the reason why the winning is so good, and that's because of the journey and the enjoying yourself and the friends and the having a laugh and the stories that you tell. Wallace says 40k's lost its soul. It's had all the fun sucked out of it over the last few editions, hence jumping ship to AOS and Necromunda, which are far more swingy, immersive, and fun. But this goes back to the balance thing that Joe talked about earlier. Is perfect balance good for the game? I'm going to argue no. I don't think it is. Balance to a point, bringing people within a bracket, that makes sense. But trying to balance everything off means you end up with everyone's got the same strength 5 -2, 2 damage melee profile. Everyone's got access to something that can infiltrate. And everyone's got access to something that can reactive move. And everyone's got access. And it's like, fuck. At this point, it's like your armies can all do the same thing. They're just different models. And that's I don't want to play fucking chess. I don't want 2 armies that just do the same things. I want my elves to be fast and the space marines to be fucking tough and durable and the orcs to be mental. That's what I want.
But ultimately, 40k now is still the same-ish game it was in third, fourth edition.
I don't think it is.
Everyone still had deep striking units. Deep strike was more random. It was less controlled. Like,
Which was better.
Everyone had infiltrating stuff. Yeah, but how many arguments do people have from deep striking?
But why? So if I was playing with my friends in our spare room with the table out, how many arguments did I have over deep striking, blast templates, flamer templates? 0. If I was playing at a tournament, how many arguments did I have? Loads.
Yeah. But you'd still...
So at that point,
but you'd still
the mechanic isn't the problem then, is it?
Yeah, but it's also like, you'd probably still have those arguments at like a narrative event because people don't want their stuff to die. Because people are like...
Dan, your best friend in the world, Dan, says Joe is wrong.
Dan's wrong. Dan doesn't know how to have fun. He just wants to play on grids now.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't think that sounds like Dan, to be fair.
But I just think the game is obviously the end of game scoring's kind of gone away. But like I think the reason end of game scoring has gone away is to give both players something to do for the 4 turns before the end of the game.
What?
You know, because what would happen is you'd have this wholly uninteractive game where you just kind of stare at each other for a little bit until the turn's passed, and then you just run on to the stuff.
That's legitimately quite interesting because that was not my experience.
Yeah.
What happened with end of game scoring for me is you spend 4 turns trying to kick the shit out of each other, and then you go, oh shit, what's left? And then you go some objectives.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
anyway.
but then is it our fault because tournaments and events were handing out prizes for who comes first and second? Oh, there's different fucking heads. God damn it.
I'm trying to figure out what weapon to put on my Desolation Sergeant.
I don't know.
Well, you have... I'd forgotten about the names, Joe. You have the Vengor launcher.
The Vengor bus.
So this is only the Sergeant who can take this weapon, which is a 48-inch range, D6 blast, hitting on 2s, strength 7 -1, 2 damage, indirect fire.
Yeah.
Right? Or he can take a super frag or a super crack. The best names they came up with, right? And the frag is D6 +1, the crack is 1 shot. They both hit on 4s. The frag is strength 5, the crack is strength 10. The frag is AP 0, the crack is AP 2.
Yeah.
The frag is damage 1, the crack is damage D6 +1. So the squad's going to have super crack launchers because I think that's cooler. But do I give him the same crack launcher that hits on 4, or do I give him the Vengor launcher that hits on 2s? Because if you're firing it indirect, you're hitting on 4s anyway, right? So just everyone the same, roll it all together.
Yeah.
But you get a D6 strength 7 AP1 2 damage gun, which is quite cool.
I love how chat's turned on me because I try and talk common sense.
How?
I just think they're just saying I'm being silly.
Sounds like you've upset him, chat.
Yeah.
You can make him happy though by gifting the finest memberships.
Yeah.
So far,
by sending to my PayPal address.
So far, we've got 12 members. Team Vengor. Is it Vengor? I think the Vengor one looks cooler for the Sergeant, so I was leaning that way. And he hits on 2s if he can see you, which is quite cool.
You want the indirect. Everyone takes him for the indirect one.
But it's still got indirect.
Yeah. The blast one, damage 2.
The damage 2 blast one still got indirect. Yeah.
Yeah, take that one.
The super crack and the super frag both don't have indirect.
Yeah. So what people were doing is putting them on the top story of buildings and then shooting indirect because then you still get plunging fire.
Plunging in your bumhole.
So, but then here's a very valid point, right? You're talking about balance and what's fun and what's good, but you're still trying to figure out what's the best gun to put on him.
No, I don't know whether I like the Vengor launcher the way it looks more than the crack one.
Yeah, but you're looking at the rules
at
the same time.
I am.
The rules shouldn't matter if you're playing for fun.
Well, the rules always matter, even if you're playing for fun, don't they?
No.
Because if you only take things that are, if you had a whole army of toughness 2, 1 wound, 6+ save models, and you only got 20 of them because the points were wrong, Well, then you're just not. You can't have fun.
I'm going to say that your argument is invalid because of how we started Age of Sigmar 3. Both of us got our Age of Sigmar armies without looking at any rules. We just got a fuckload of kits, right? And then
we did,
right? I say I built my army, right? And you kind of built an army as well. We built our armies and painted a bunch of stuff without looking at the rules. I chose Soulblight Gravelords solely on the models, right? It wasn't until we actually came to the process of playing the game that we realised we fucked up because we could make an actual army. But once we've done that, we were like, okay, all I need to do is get this, this, and this, and my army is valid. And then that's how we started playing the game. And ultimately, my Slaves Darkness one, but also my Soulblight Gravelords army hasn't really progressed much further than what I had got it before because I just really like the models.
Yeah, but that's because I think AOS has just done a better job overall of balancing choices.
But it's like, I want to do the New Year, New Army of Orc Pigs. Right? I do know the rules for the Orc Pigs. I know it's not a good army, but I want to build it and play with it because I just like the models.
Right.
So I don't think narrative-wise rules should matter or what they're armed with. I think I've got a guy here with missile launchers because that could probably deal with shooting at tanks, probably. You know, I like the models. I've got a bunch of Terminators. I've got like Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Terminators and my Blood Angels, and they're shit.
But although to some extent I agree with what you're saying, the problem we have with 40k in general is you have to be conscious of the rules. Otherwise, you end up in situations where it's just not going to be fun for you.
Yeah.
So because of the way the game's developed, because of the way the focus has been on competitive play, on match play missions, etc., over the course of the last edition specifically, but actually over the course of quite a few editions, if we really think about it, if you put no thought into your army whatsoever, you're going to turn up. You're going to lose all 5 games, and I can lose all 5 games and have fun, but you're going to lose all 5 games and not have fun. And so you need to be a little bit cognizant of what rules are and what rules can do, so you stand a chance at least of holding your own. No one minds, I don't think most people mind losing a game by 5-10 points, having had a good experience, enjoyed themselves, had a giggle, that's fine. No one wants to get tabled in 3 turns, have not been able to kill a single enemy unit and scored no points. So on the one hand, I agree with you, people shouldn't have to care about the rules and should be able to just build narrative fun stuff. But at the same time, I think the game at the moment requires you to have to think about it.
Yeah, but I think if you could know all your rules, you could have a beautifully plated army, right? And you could go to a tournament and still get tabled every game, right? But what you're asking for is a narrative fun game at a competitive event, right?
Not actually narrative.
But you're asking for what you're asking for.
A fun game, yes. Narrative.
What you're asking for is essentially to go and ride it's like to go for a gentle jog in like a cross country race, aren't you? Really, it's like you just want to go along and sniff the flowers and then when everyone's running, you know, and that's fine, but you have to be conscious that you're not going to win or do very well, and there might be people that will walk along with you, but everyone else is there to do a thing. I think what you want is what you're looking for in the wrong place.
Okay.
And that's why I think what you want can only be achieved by going to fun narrative events. Right? I'm not saying that competitive isn't fun, because I like playing fun competitive. But if you go to narrative events, you're going to be in a room populated by mostly people that want the same thing.
You might be right.
So I think, if people want to have the experience that they're asking for, they have to do it in a place that they're willing to create themselves.
I just think that there was a select few people years and years and years and years ago who cared about being competitive.
Yeah.
And they were very good players, and they existed, and they were the best. Cool, fine, okay, no dramas. And I think what's happened over the course of the last course of the last edition, maybe the last 2 editions, is we've come away from a good player or a good group of players, and we've come towards every man and his dog wants to be the next best thing in the ITC. Every man and his dog wants to go and win a major. I think it's bad.
Yeah, but I think that's...
I think now we've got to a point where a lot of people are going to tournaments with this expectation they should do well and win. And actually, my expectation is to have fun.
Yeah,
There's a difference.
But I think... I don't think that's mutually exclusive to this hobby.
No, and I agree with you.
Yeah. And I think, like... I think if what you want, you have to do it yourself.
Dan says, "Well, I'm building a fucking gaming venue, so I'm trying, Joe."
Yeah, but then you have
I'm
to
literally doing exactly what you're saying,
But then
mate.
you have to be the one to run all the events, and you have to be the one to put in all the work to make sure the game is played in the way that you want it to play.
Yeah, well,
like because you could hire people to run the events for you, and you could play in it, and you'd be like, oh, this is not what I wanted at all.
yeah.
So, you only get what you want by doing it yourself.
Dan says AOS Throne of Skulls doubles are a cracking event. Get a partner coming along. No one wants to play AOS with me, Dan.
Yeah, it's 'cause you're shit. And also, it would require you have to build and paint an army.
No, I wouldn't. I've got you.
Yeah,
That's
but
literally what I pay you for.
doubles is different, isn't it?
It's what I pay you for, Joe.
Yeah.
I identified a skill gap years ago and hired you.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here to paint armies.
And then you have to find someone to go with.
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bigger problem, mate, to be fair.
Lady Malice, by the way, what a model.
Is she good, is she? Is she
Yeah.
nice?
I
I haven't
think
actually seen her properly. I've seen a picture of her on Warcom.
you
but-
may only see pictures.
Is that what you just
She's
made?
drying at the moment.
Oh, you made it wet.
So I think, like,
Can we talk about, by the way, the fact that there is a towel closed in on a car door, flapping against the dirty side of a car in the car park downstairs, and some swimming shorts hanging off of an aerial?
I went swimming this morning.
I guessed. I thought that was.
I basically.
Please tell me you at least put them there when you got her. You didn't drive it like that.
I know, I got changed. Basically, I'm swimming every morning. I'm trying to swim every morning or swim every day. But obviously, I went swimming this morning. I didn't go home. I just had a shower, came straight here. But at the same time, I didn't want my car to fill up with damp. So I opened my back door, hung my towel in it so it could dry, put my swimming shorts over my aerial, and they'll dry out, and then I can put them in my car dry. And because otherwise, what'll happen is I'll go to my car tonight, and all the windows will be fogged up from damp. I don't want that. Also, I want to go swimming tomorrow, so I want them to be dry for tomorrow.
Fair. But they're also the towels will be dirty because he's got a filthy side of a car.
Yeah, but it won't be wet.
You could put it up in here and then put it under the aircon fucking fan.
Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to hang it in here?
To get one.
I'll get a clothes horse and then just bang it here for my swimming days.
I don't mind. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
We can use like
There
the
you go.
terrain room. We can bring in a space heater, hang it up, just plug the space heater in.
Yeah.
Oh, she is quite nice.
She's
isn't
very
she?
nice, isn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty.
Yeah, I'm full rigidity for Drukhari again.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I'm
keen
back,
on them.
I'm back in love with them again.
I'm pretty keen on them, but I figured what I would do is just let you build and paint the army because then I can play with it anyway.
Yeah. If they get a range refresh at the quality of these two models, oof. But the thing is, I'm more than happy with the models that we have here, right? Obviously, there will come a time when I have 30 Incubi.
He wants me to buy him another Real Space Raiders box, chat. So if we hit 100 members on this stream, and I'm going to warn you now, we're on 12.
Or you could buy a Real Space Raiders box from Element Games, follow the link, and then have it PO boxed to us. It's only £127.50.
Much cheaper for each individual person to gift the membership, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then I'll buy the box.
So then I'd
after-
have 10.
Then I'll buy the box after the show. I started off with the pointy gun hand, but I actually feel like I want the guy carrying his ammo.
I really enjoyed running Harlequins the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, it really scratched my Drukhari itch.
These chairs have got fucking noisy in the space of a week. What did you and Dan do on them on Thursday?
Sex.
Fair.
Yeah. Aggressive rhinoceros sex.
How does that go?
Painful. But yeah, I think Eldar and Harlequins and Drukhari are the play style that is my favourite for this hobby. I think because it's very high risk, high reward.
Yeah, that's why I love Eldar.
You know, and I think I said it in the stream when Dan was here, is that Drukhari are essentially the ultimate expression of that as well, even more than normal Eldar, because Eldar at least has 3-up saves on all of his aspect warriors, which is what most lists are now.
I think it's all of them, yeah.
Yeah. And they've got a lot of very, very good characters across the board. I think
Aspects do some heavy lifting for Eldar, although I'd like to run a list that has a lot more Guardians in it to be a bit more fluffy, but Guardians aren't bad, to be fair.
Oh, Guardians are still good. In fact, you can run a 20-man unit of them, can't you? Or they're just 10-mans?
I think they're 10s. I'd have to look. I don't remember. I've never had the inclination to run 20 if they are. They're still pretty decent, I think, Guardians and Storm Guardians, but I think you're probably right. I pick Eldar mostly because I prefer the Craft World aesthetic.
Yeah.
I love the Drukhari aesthetic, but I prefer the Craft World aesthetic, which is why I've always been primarily a Craft World.
I think it's because I've just always preferred the more emo-y things, emo-y side of things.
Yeah.
I just like Soul Black Grave Lords. I'm gonna start doing what every other Drukhari player has done and start plunging the depths of the Soul Black Grave Lords range for more sexy models.
I got Radagar at home now.
Radagar.
I love that model. He's so nice. He's sat aside for a rainy day.
Yeah, he is. Or it will soon be having many of those.
I don't know if I will have rainy days because of Hobby House, Joe.
Your hobby is dead now.
A little bit. I've got some models. I've got, 10 models at home that I've wanted to build for ages. And over the course of the last 2 weeks, I've managed 2.5.
Oh. What, painting or building?
Building. Not even sanded on the base or base coated yet because I've just been too busy. And when I've not been busy, I've been unwell, or I've just been sat in the corner of my office sobbing.
I've had models that I have to do. That I literally have to get done, and I don't want to do them because I want to play Battlefield. But I can't because I have to paint models, and it makes me... So a lot of my painting recently has been very depressing because... It's a real flip-floppy emotion because I was really happy when I looked at my 1,000-point doubles list on my desk list last night. I was like super proud that I've done that, and then I really felt like I'd earned my Battlefield time.
Yeah,
and the game felt that much sweeter.
Battlefield is my favourite video game of all time. Right? They've released Battlefield 6, which might just be the best Battlefield of all time. And then I had set Saturday aside to play it only. I'd raced ahead in the downstairs demolition on Wednesday, Thursday, so I could justify Saturday. I then came down with man flu and played 0 hours Battlefield on Saturday because I was just in shit state and I had a raging headache. I then was a similar Sunday morning. I managed to get the campaign in because I just didn't want to fuck around with the brain power of playing multiplayer. And then I've managed 2 multiplayer games since then.
Why didn't you install it here?
I actually could install it here.
Because then, when you get like half an hour downtime, you can be like, "Oh, play a game of Rush."
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I think you should.
It might
also, by the way, Rush is still my favourite mode.
Is it?
Yeah, I fucking love Rush.
I'm a big fan of old school Conquest, but hey.
I like Conquest, but Josh won't play it with me.
I'll play it with you soon,
Big smelly boy. I want tank team.
Right, chat. We're on 22 members right now. We're 3 away from quarter.
I've been talking for so long. My glue nearly dried out.
Thank you, Sam Deacon, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Sam. I hope that you get the Death Watch rules soon. So you did some cool conversions in the group chat, but in the Thanes, and they look really good. But they're not. You've got rules for them yet, and it makes me sad. Mainly because I've got a box of them sat there doing nothing because we haven't had the rules yet. And once the rules come, I will build them. And it'll be wonderful. We'll live in this wonderful
Wunderbar.
place.
Chapter shoulder pads are left-hand side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Good.
So it is front towards enemy.
He's a sergeant, so he has the little skull one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's dead.
No, because the sergeant
Because he's the one to die first.
That's how you know who the sergeant is. He's got the little skull. It's got skull. It's got skull.
I do feel sorry for the armies that have sergeants with 2 wounds. Because they're always the first one to die. In a lot of armies, they're like, yeah, he dies first because he's got 2 wounds. I've only taken one.
My Craftworld Exarchs have 2 wounds, and I always leave them till the end.
Oh, I left his little bum plate. Scorpion kind of wingy bum plate.
What do you make him?
Hmm?
You make an Incubi.
Incubi. I have to remember to use the little token as well. Because that's a thing now, isn't it?
Oh, have they done it with them as well, have they?
Yeah. What does it do?
What does it do?
Tell me your secret book. What does it do?
Tell me your secret, Gypsy.
Oh, I've got mandrakes at home. I need to build them.
The new ones?
Yeah.
They're fucking gorgeous. I love those.
Where are you?
Oh, look at you lot go. Come on, chat. Joe might get his Real Space Raiders box set.
Incubi Shrine token. Once per battle, for each Incubi Shrine token this unit has, you can change the result of 1 hit or 1 wound roll made for the Clavex or Incubi model in this unit to an unmodified 6.
Okay, so it's literally the same as the Eldar tokens.
Yeah, and then in the fight phase, when you set this unit to fight, you can spend 1 pain token to empower this unit. While empowered, each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack that targets an infantry unit, that attack has the devastating wounds ability.
That's all right, isn't it? Right, we have some comments from people in the chat, Jay.
Yeah, are they spiteful, evil comments?
Yeah, it's mostly about how you're wrong. But I'll read them out anyway, just in case. We'll start off with Rum O'Clock. Thank you for the $5. So long as it's a close game, I don't care who wins. I also have fun building and painting either way. Exactly 50% win rate since I restarted an 8. I think if you're at a 50% win rate, you're probably likely to be like, don't care if I win or lose.
Yeah.
Because you've got a nice balance. I think if you were at like a 95% loss rate, maybe you'd care a bit more. I don't know.
Right, yeah, I think that's also important to remember, right? I think there's a lot of people that, well, I'm going to use Dan, other Dan, Army Dan, and was Navy, isn't he?
He's Navy, yeah. Please don't call him Army Dan when he's Navy.
Yeah.
They're very different things.
Are they?
Yes.
One's good, one's bad?
Yep.
Okay. See the bad one?
One does the bumming, one gets bummed. Yep.
That's 2 lost subscribers. Anyway, he's playing guard at the moment.
Yeah.
He's come from playing Ultramarines. He's now playing guard. He really loves the guard. He bought a lot of guard. Got a lot of guard from you.
He
Very
did,
excited
yeah.
for guard. I've talked to him a lot about guard.
That's how I justify getting Krieg, was by selling him all my Cadians.
But the thing is, though, he's not enjoying it so much because he's losing all of his games. It doesn't help, though, let's be honest, that his sparring partner is Paddy, who's a try-hard dickhead.
He's a try-hard
right?
dickhead.
And he doesn't. He's not softly catchy monkey. He's just full fist, no loot.
Take my finger, yeah.
Yeah.
And my next finger, and my next finger.
Yeah, and a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Right. He's not a gentle lover.
And Joe's horse.
Yeah, so I think so he's not enjoying it so much because he's not winning as much. So I was trying to explain to him when I started playing guard, I think I lost like the first 20, 30 games because I wasn't used to playing in that kind of play style. But once you figure it out, because it is a very different gaming style, and you start to win, it feels better. But the problem is when you're like at 100% win rate, loss rate over 20 games, you're not having a good time, right? You're constantly a little bit miserable, and you're like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
My dice are fine. I've got the models. My army looks great, but I'm still losing. It's not great. So winning makes everything better. right?
Yeah,
Right?
You heard it here first, folks.
Right? Not winning all the time, but winning is a feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
Right? And with Guard, winning is a feeling of accomplishment on another level. Right? It's like winning in the face of adversity.
Which is what Guard should sort of feel like, I
Yeah,
guess.
it shouldn't always feel like you shouldn't just be smashing everyone all the time. And I think saying you don't care if you win or lose is fine as long as you win sometimes. Because if you're losing all the time, it's not fun.
Yeah, I bet you'd then care.
Yeah.
I take his point though. If his win rate is 50-50, I'm sure that's exactly
That's
how
fine.
he feels.
That's what I'm not saying you're doing it wrong either. I'm just saying that I think it's fine if you don't win or if you win or lose, but if you're on the losing side all the time, it's less enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to say money doesn't buy you happiness, but it makes your life a hell of a lot better.
It does.
You know?
Exclamation mark gift.
Yeah. Yeah. I think winning is important. I think the best outcome is a draw. Ultimately, you've both had. I think losing is perfectly fine if the game is still good and enjoyable, right? Because saying, "Oh, I don't mind losing," well, I lost 20 points to 100, 10 games in a row. That you're not having a good time. You're a victim at that point, right? I think if you play 10 games and you lose all of them, but you literally you winning for the first 4 turns and you lose in the final round, or one turn you're winning, next turn your opponent's winning, and then there's literally 5 points in it. Those are the best games, I think. But it's kind of I think you have to be realistic about the terms of losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to lose, but have something to take away from it.
Have some fucking dignity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lolly Panda, for the $5. Spontaneous dropping from an event seems very unsportsmanlike to me. I think we can put any player who repeatedly drops after a loss or two in a singular box.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not touching that.
I don't get it. I mean, I think if I went to Factorum, I used to run events, right? If I attended Factorum events and I had a really shit first day for whatever reason, I could be tempted maybe, but predominantly because I would be driving from home each day, right? It's a local event-ish, because it's like an hour away from me, right?
Oh, God.
I think
I forgot how fucking fiddly these arms are.
Yeah, you've been so used to big power armor Space Marines.
God save me.
Welcome back to Elves, Joe.
I built many thousands of points of L's for you, but the dual arm Clavex is not a model that goes together.
But if you then go somewhere, book a hotel, plan a weekend away. As far as I'm concerned, I'm away for the weekend at that point.
Yeah, I think I can understand, right, if you've booked a hotel for the Friday night and the Saturday night, and they say you've got to the final, you've got into the top 8, you now have to stay Sunday night and come for Monday. You go, well, I haven't booked work off tomorrow, so I'm going home.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? I think that's understandable.
I never expected to do that well.
I never expected to do that well. I'm happy with my 5. I'll go home, give it to the next guy. But if you've booked a hotel for the Saturday night and then you just go home, you're just burning money at that point. You know?
Yeah. What you've done is you've done the adult equivalent of throwing a fucking temper tantrum.
Yeah. Also, I think it speaks a lot to your to the person's level of self-confidence and vanity. You know? If your pride is hurt so much by losing, I think you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows at true colour, I think.
I think ideally, the important thing is that if you want to encourage good sportsmanship, giving the game away, then you have to kind of practice what you preach, right? Because
But I've also seen people who have, like I said earlier in the stream, who have seen who they're playing in round 4 and then dropped. I'm like, it's a fucking dice game. Play the game.
yeah, give
Like,
it
have
a
a
whirl.
go. Like, at least, like, I've never understood being 3-0, drawing a tough opponent, then dropping.
Yeah.
That's mental.
You're also kind of ruining it for them as well, because what happens is if you drop and there's no people for that person to pair into, they kind of get a bye, which isn't really the same as a win. Also, like, no one wants to be at the top of a podium getting away with a bye,
No.
because it's kind of a hollow victory at that point. You're like, oh, you're here, but you didn't really have to try as hard as the person that came second who played all of their games.
But I think also, if I was a person who paid 50, 60, 70 quid to go away for a weekend and play 5 games of Warhammer, and my intent was to go away and play 5 games of Warhammer against 5 random opponents and enjoy myself, I think I'd then feel a little bit shortchanged if I got to buy 1 round. Oh, so thanks for being here. By the way, you've not got a game. So, see you next round.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, I wanted to play 5 games.
Yeah, just walk around for a bit.
I don't know. I think it's a fucking. I'll go as far as to say that if you lose and drop, or like if it's a legitimate reason, you're incredibly unwell, you thought you'd give it a go, whatever.
Got absolutely shit faced the night before. I could barely talk. I spent my game 2.
But this is the point,
slowly
Joe.
crushing the life out of a
But this is the
water
point,
bottle,
Joe. You played it,
out of fear of my partner.
but you
who
still
had a
played
go at
it.
me. Yeah.
You still played the game.
I still did it, but
I think if you have a legitimate reason, your fucking kid got run over by Joe's horse, whatever it might be, right? Fine. If it's I lost, or ugh, fuck this, or that army that I'm playing into looks too hard and I don't want to lose, then you're just a cunt.
Bob Haight says, if I want to drop, I'll drop. And that's fine, because you've owned it. You've not come up with an excuse. You go, I'm dropping, I can't be fucked, right? I think the manner that you do it is what dictates how people will judge you. And this is the situation that we're in, is it bad form to drop?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, I don't know, because people drop all the time.
It depends on the reason. but I
Dropping
think
from
so.
events shouldn't be a taboo, ultimately.
If that's the
Right?
case, why are the World
people
Championships?
people will do what they want to do, right?
Why are the World Championships banning it then, Joe?
Because at the World Championships, you're in a room full of champions, right? And
Champion.
they're trying to find the ultimate winner.
Right.
And there's a strength of schedule.
Right. So what we're
And
saying?
if you played someone round 1,
Yep.
and that person then lost all 7 other games,
Yep.
right? That affects your strength of schedule. If they drop, it completely fucks it.
Right.
Right,
So
but if
we're
you're
saying that dropping from an event can impact other people's enjoyment if you're just doing it because you're throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I think it's going to kind of push a lot of event organisers to change how they score points, right? Because I think obviously when you're playing the computer game at home and you're having a couple shit rounds, you go, I don't want to do this anymore, and you turn it off, and you're in your right to. Right, that doesn't affect the people who play that game going forward.
Correct.
And if you're doing an event that doesn't use strength of schedule, you dropping should ultimately not affect how you do it. I think the reason this has become a taboo, right, is that people you probably don't do this, Bob, right? Because you have a trustworthy name, Bob, strong. But like, it's when people get to levels of strategic dropping that it becomes a problem. So people, like I said at the start of the stream, people will drop or turn up late before the event's even started because they're not happy with the matchup, right? Or they'll lose and they go, I can't win, so I'm going to go home. My only reason to be here is to win. And if I can't win, I'll just go home. And I think that's fine, right? If you just say that's what you're doing. There are certain individuals who are getting a name for themselves that drop the moment they lose, and then it's like, my horse has a headache. My cat won't wear his shoes. I've crashed my car. You know, a family member's crashed a car, a house is on fire, a country's on fire. You know, my lizard has gallstones. It's just like this, all these mental excuses. It's like don't use excuses. Just go. I came to win. I can't win. Packing my bags and going home.
I still don't think that's. So you're right, but still don't think that that's.
Well, I don't think it should be a problem. I don't think we should stigmatise people that do it. There are people that do it for legitimate reasons, and the people that. But I just think the issue comes with the bullshit.
I don't know. I think it impacts other people's experiences as well.
It does. I think if you drop. But it's. But the thing is though, this is because, right? And you're this stream, you're saying it's not about winning, right?
Correct.
Is that it all comes when you go to a tournament where the scoring is based on strength of schedule and dropping is bad. Does that mean that we need to change how they score events so strength of schedule isn't important?
Yeah, maybe.
Because we started using strength of schedule at tournaments. For those who don't know, strength of schedule is based on the game, how well your opponent does over the course of an event. So when there is a tiebreaker, essentially they look at your previous pairings. How if your opponent that you played round 2 won all their games, and you draw against someone who their opponents lost all their games, then you go, clearly the guy whose opponent won most of their games is a better player, so your strength of schedule is higher. Essentially,
you've had a harder opponent.
You've had a harder run because the people you played are better at the game. So, and they did that because the problem is they were using battle points, and if someone scores 100 points every round, they could have just had 5 really easy games or 3 really easy games, scored max points because it was just the pairings were just super favourable for them. And it kind of didn't really dictate the quality of the player. So now strength of schedule is used as a way of determining how well you've done. But the problem with strength of schedule now is that people who tactically drop, you know, people that. But the thing is though, if you leave because you've got liquid ass, right? No one's going to blame you for dropping, right?
There's something that's happened to you.
No, I've never had it, right? If you got hot snakes and you got to go home, right? People will be like, "That's fine, you go home."
I don't think they touch you.
Right? They'll lick you. They'll lick your face, your sweaty face. They go, "That's fine, you go home." But if your opponent loses because you went home, they're not going to go and hunt. They're not going to go on the internet and be like, "Oh, Joe fucked me over because he just had warm goo running down his leg all day," you know. But if someone just drops and goes home and they go, "Oh, XYZ," but I think the reason why is because like it happening once isn't a problem. When it happens over the course of 10, 20 events by the same person, that's why it's now become a problem.
You've got a real bee in your body at the moment, yeah.
Just saying. I think competitive players get a bad rep, but it's not all competitive players.
No,
and that's where my gripe comes from.
We said that the other week, didn't we? Like the top end tournament players aren't the problem. We said that the other week, and I'm inclined to agree with that. To be fair,
yeah. But I think everywhere you go, every workplace, there's always going to be someone that ruins it for everyone. You.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
I was like, he's either going to call out me, Paddy, or Eddie.
So Rambo says, so what Joe is saying is whoever gets drawn against that guy who is a great opponent first game should drop to fuck them over. I feel like that would be a level of justice.
That would be a meme in itself.
Right? If that person lost a tournament because one of their opponents dropped on schedule, that is...
poetic justice.
That is universal justice at its best, really, isn't it? Like, and I'm kind of here for it, in a way.
Is Adam still in chat? Can we talk about Beachhead round 1 pairings, Adam?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, we're still only on. I don't think you're going to get your next box, Joe. We're only on 32 gifted members right now.
Oh.
Sheep, thank you for the $5. I wonder if lots of narrative does happen, just not at events because it doesn't suit that format. Interesting.
Well,
I'd love to know how many people like just play casual fun games.
This is what I was talking about, right? Is that is that narrative play is not recorded play. There's no data behind it. So you're ultimately complaining about something that we have no idea of. You know, we have no comprehension because we can't see it. Mm-hmm. We know it exists, much like oxygen, but we can't see it happening. And that's why I said, if we want to see more and experience more narrative play, then we have to do it. But ultimately, either us or Games Workshop has to come up with a scoring metric to record data that is not reliant on win ratios. As weird as that sounds. Because once you start putting a scoring metric in that rewards points, it incentivizes people to play more competitively, right? So you have to run an event where winning is not the point, but you still need to be able to record that data to help. I don't know if there's a version of BCP, like Best Coast Pairings, that records win-losses that you can then use as a pairing metric that you can control, but you don't need to care about who wins. Or you because most narrative events are usually ran on a laptop, aren't they?
Yes.
Because that laptop will have all the information on who's there, what armies they've bought, what narrative spin it has, and that would then influence the narrative game matchups they get put into or asked to get put themselves into. And I think like these things exist and people are playing them.
Where's Clitheroe?
What?
Where's Clitheroe?
Sounds Welsh.
Clitheroe, England.
Don't know.
Someone else trying.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
But it's like make soft point. So what you have is like, do all of your events then get based off of best overall, not best player? So you can say we track best player, but we do not reward it. You get best overall is the only thing that we reward people for. But then you go. But then obviously, are people still going to turn up because they want those ITC points because you're tracking through Best Coast Pairings?
It's insurance.
So yeah, I don't know. We need to find, but also like you have to find a reason for people to turn up. I know a lot of people that have run narrative events, worked very, very hard on a very comprehensive narrative booklet. What's it called? Like rules pack, but it's too complicated and it's too much admin. So that's also, I think that's also the issue with narrative play. Is someone needs to create a rules pack that is fun to play with, that's not too much paperwork.
Doesn't blow your fucking head off.
Doesn't blow your head off.
The guys at Factorum, CAD wrote an absolutely beautiful narrative system in terms of the level of complexity and the story behind it. I loved it. I then tried to brief it to people.
So work. It's too hectic. It's too busy.
Much. Like I was able to get my head around it because I was there when he was designing it and he was talking me through it, and I loved the complexity, and he had a system for invading planets and what have you. I thought it was really, really good. It was really good. But when I stood there and tried to brief 40 people, and I mean this in the nicest possible way when I say what I'm about to say, but 40 people of varying levels of intelligence, right? Because you don't have to have passed an exam to play Warhammer, so you can be on the lower end of the intelligence scale or on the upper end of the intelligence scale, and both of you can play Warhammer, and there's nothing wrong with that. And when I then tried to give that out, I understood it. I understand normally relatively complex things. I gave the brief out, and some of the blank faces, and I was like, any questions? There was loads, and I was like, this is overly complicated.
Yeah, and that's why Games Workshop's rule system is really good. Because it is the way that's why competitive tournaments are more popular, because what happens is at most tournaments that do the pairings before people turn up is they open the door, everyone walks in, finds the table they're at, sets the table up themselves, and is normally ready to play, or if not already playing by the time the host of the event does the morning brief.
Maybe.
And it's just more efficient and it works better. But like narrative play, my biggest gripe is the systems that people put into narrative events on the death of units and characters.
Yeah.
Right? Say I spent months building and painting a Drukhari army. I put literal days into painting my new Lady Malice and my new Archon, right? Lady Malice gets killed turn 1, game 1, right? And they go, roll on the death chart. Oh, right, she's dead now. She's gone. Can't use her anymore. I'm like, cool, I don't want to play anymore. Because now I just have to use basic Archons.
Would you do that? Would you be like that? If you knew that was a risk, if you knew that was something that could happen...
I just want to go to the event. Because I don't like events that go, oh, that guy's dead, he's gone now, you can't use it anymore. Because it's like, I've got this massive collection, and those systems are really punishing to people that bring subpar armies, right? This is where balancing comes in. If you get randomly paired, or you go, you're defending this outpost, right? You are an Eldar player, Drukhari player, a Guard player, right? You're defending this outpost, and then a Space Marine drop pod army turns up, because that's cool and narrative, right? And
yay, the drop pods.
And then, yay, drop pods. And then that drop pod player turns up and deletes 90% of your army in one turn. That is cool and narrative.
Yay, drop pods.
For the Space Marine player. And then you roll the dice for your army. Most of your army is dead, and they go, cool, you've got no resources to buy anything because it's the start of the event, and you're going into your next game with 400 points.
But that's a poorly designed event though, right? Is this your argument, that's a poorly designed event?
I think that's the problem I don't like about a lot of narrative events, where you get punished for stuff dying, and then your event is less because stuff of your... Obviously, like, if that's the kind of thing you like doing, then more for it. But I don't want to go to an event and go, my next game I can use a fifth of my army because most of it died in the one previously. I always think narrative events should be, you bring a 2,000 point army, and you bring a narrative 2,000 point army, and you use that one for the entire event. It's just the missions and the tables and the layouts and the terrain is the narrative aspect of it.
Well,
right?
this is interesting.
And then there's like a global campaign that you are contributing to.
When part of the New Year, New Army type stuff that we're going to do here, I'd like to do a narrative set of games alongside it, a narrative story arc.
But I want
to develop character names. I want to develop names of captains that aren't already named characters, or
and that's fine.
War bosses or whatever.
But you go, say you build a custom Ultramarine character, right? And my custom Orc player smashes his dome in round, like, first game on the channel that you spent ages building and painting him. I'm like, cool, all that time's wasted. You can't use him anymore for the next 10 games that we've got planned.
I think for a narrative...
And you go, cool, I have to use a new sergeant now. Be like, well, you can't use the model that you made for that other character because he's dead.
I think for a narrative arc on the channel, that's probably okay though, right?
But then you, Mr. I paint one model a year, right? It's like, you're like, I've spent a week building and paint. I've specially picked out this time to build and paint this model. Is dead. you're going to be really fucked off if he dies and he can't be used again.
I think
because it's just wasted time.
But it's not that he can't ever be used again. It's just for the campaign. I think for the narrative of the campaign, that's probably we'd have to figure out how we make it work. But I think it's probably okay.
I think if you're gonna, I don't think you should have
Fun.
No, I think No, I think you should have fun, right? But I think you know. I think if you're going to do narrative content or narrative events, it's narrative in theme, and you scale the games up, right? So game 1. So I'm going to use the orcs for example, right? I have an orc war boss on foot, right? And it's a 500-point game. He might get hurt. It has some time out. But next time he comes back, he might be in mega armor instead to defend himself better. He's got like a metal leg or something, right? He has progressed as a character, but he's not gone. It's a new mod. And then game 3, so game 2 is 1,000 points. Game 3 is 1,500, and then game 4 is 2,000 points.
What if a death didn't mean a death? What if my new custom painted took me all the time in the world, is brilliant, and probably win a painting award? Thanks, Joe. I'm glad you said that. What if he dies, but instead of him dying, he ends up next game, he's got a negative implication because he died in the previous one. So you still use him.
Yeah.
But he's...
Yeah. I think that's fine because we're tracking that between ourselves and YouTube stuff. But this is why I think I don't like a lot of narrative events, because it relies on every person
being honest.
And I've had, like, there's crusade events where some people by day 2, just like Games Workshop's not tracking your games. You have to personally track your. So game 2, you go, cool. None of my guys died yesterday, and they've all got the best resources, and I've got infinite money because of reasons.
Believable,
right? Because people will play the system. That's why I think you have narrative themed armies, narrative themed tables, and fixed lists. Just leave it at that. And I think that's the simplest way of doing it. So when people turn up and you go, cool, you bought your cool Kroot army, your first game is on that jungle board, right? And this geezer here, he's turned up with Catachan jungle fighters. You've got 4 hours, because you like 4 hours. Have a whale of a time.
Have a whale of a time.
Right? And you go, these guys here, they turned up with Raven Guard. You're going to fight on a space station that we've laid out over there versus Alpha Legion. I think that's the best way to do it. And if you win, next game, someone gets a free orbital strike, or someone can do a teleport, or you just gain extra points for your faction this event. I think you have to simplify the rules for people of varying intelligences and understand in a 5-10 minute introduction to the event.
And somehow make sure that it's still a narrative event, that isn't just a skinned competitive event.
Because the moment you start handing people sheets of paper to write information on, I think you've already lost.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people will lose those damage them.
And I think that's why there isn't as many narrative events. I agree with what you're saying. If you want a thing, make the thing. I think that's perfectly legitimate in life in general, Joe. If you want the thing, go out and make the thing, right? Don't always just sit there waiting for someone else to do it for you. It's reasonable. However, I think that to do a good narrative event is just significantly more complicated.
Yeah.
And it is. And I don't at the moment think there's a perfect recipe. I'd love to know what the Games Workshop narrative ones are like, the grand narrative ones are like for 40k, because they seem to be quite popular. They sell out in seconds.
And I don't think if you're a store, for instance, a gaming centre, if you are having an overarching narrative over several narrative events, you do not implement any rules that allow the changes of stats and 3 points to any models. Because you have Jeff, who comes to every event that you've done, right? So this happened at Factorum, right? There was a guy who figured out a system where after game 2, his Orc war boss, his personal dedicated transport was a stomper. It cost him no points. Right? So he'd turn up to the table and be like, cool, stomper. That's fun and narrative, and that's very exciting that his war boss has got to a point where he has a stomper, but every one of his opponents had an awful time. Say you have that kind of similar system here where you go, cool, my Orc war boss has got he's like toughness 10 with 10 wounds, 20 attacks at damage free AP2, and he's playing against someone who's never been to one of your events before, and just gets curd stomped and has an horrible time.
Kick the scrub.
Yeah, I think there's ways of doing it that don't have fill bans for people.
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable for everyone. But ultimately, part of the point of this thing is that like winning and losing isn't important, but the things that we long for, the fun narrative experiences, are too hard to cater for the average person.
Yeah.
Like Dan's obviously looking at doing some Age of Sigmar events, and the startup cost of those alone for an average man, just a normal man,
We're just normal men.
is very, very high.
You're not getting your box, Joe. We're at 32.
That's fine.
Iron Rouser and Whitey, thank you for the 1 gifted each. Dan, Limey Panda, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope that you
Suck a fat one.
no.
Oh.
I hope that you start to lactate your favourite monster drinks. You could turn it on and off.
All right, okay. That's
Yeah.
better.
You don't want to be like dripping in the middle of like a interview or anything, do you?
No, turning it on and off makes it
Yeah.
okay. To start with,
and
it's
you
just a
control the
curse.
flow because like 'cause
Right,
you might just find it's like like a fire hydrant. You don't want that, do you?
No, no one wants a fire hydrant.
You'd be
of
very
Monster.
dehydrated as well.
You would, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, because the Dragon for the $10. He says, I kind of wish more people just played Codex as written and screwed all the balance updates. An issue because of physical books, obviously, would mean more people would just have to live with dumb rules. I mean, there was a time when that happened, and we all used to complain about it a lot.
Yeah, that's great until you play AdMech. You know, that is a worthy dream, but unfortunately, rules are not created equally. I'm perfectly happy for a level of imbalance, but I want that imbalance to be this army is just harder to play than another one. You can still win with it, but it's not dog shit, right?
Okay.
I don't think an army should be bad, because when you have imbalance, one thing's always going to be good and one thing's always going to be bad. But I think the bad thing should still work, right? AdMech is a prime example of something that was bad and didn't work.
There's also the flip side, like 9th or 8th edition launch Votan?
Yeah, which were great and brokenly good.
Yeah.
So I think what I want them to be, I want the imbalance to be a sliding scale of difficulty, right? So in Age of Sigmar, the Git Mob stuff, the Wolf Rider stuff, beautiful model range, incredible model range, just didn't work. The rules are just terrible, really bad. No one played with them. They didn't sell well because they just weren't worth buying. Whereas now they're in a good rules place where they're hard to play, their units aren't incredible, but you can still win with them.
Yeah.
But it's just harder to do. And that's what I kind of want in all the game systems.
I'd like, it's never going to happen this, right? I'd like enough armies with a low skill floor and enough armies that also have, not as well as a low skill floor, but also have a high skill ceiling.
Yeah.
So I think high skill floor, high skill ceiling, low skill floor, lower skill ceiling is quite nice. So like if you've got a starting army like Space Marines, you want them to have a low skills floor.
Yeah.
So that anyone can pick them up and play it and kind of compete in a game. And what I mean by compete isn't like getting 90 points. I mean just be able to play and enjoy themselves and not just get turned over every single time. And actually if you're not a great player, you're a new player, and perhaps you pick up a high skill floor army like perhaps Drukhari, you go, oh, my stuff died really fast. But actually by playing with that army, and I would love for this to be the case, leaning into its narrative, your progression throughout its kind of skill curve increases, and you get to a point where you get closer to the skill ceiling because you've mastered a complicated army. But I don't know, it's hard, isn't it? Because at the same time, we also have to remember that this is a product that they want to sell to as many people as they possibly can.
Yeah. But it's also like, if we were playing by the narrative, Custodian's armies just wouldn't exist.
Correct. And I'm
Right.
not sure I think they should in 40k.
Death Watch armies wouldn't really exist. Sorry, Sam.
I still think they should all go into a singular.
Yeah. So I've said for ages they should just all be in Agents of the Imperium.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
So I think, I think Games Workshop just has an impossible task, because they can't please everyone all the time.
Yeah.
And we live in a world currently where the easiest and most lucrative market to please is the organised event.
Ben says, and he's right, like, he just complained about it. I said we all complained about it before when things weren't changed. Complained about it, but we still played it. We did, and I think we were better at self-policing. I think we were better at house ruling.
But I think that's also down to the event organizer to do. Because, like, Games Workshop ultimately are just giving us a toolbox to play with.
It's also related to the fact that the community was smaller. Now, as the community grows, as it gets bigger and more mainstream and more popular, house rules become less accepted. House rules become less allowed because it's bigger. And so if you've got a group of 10 people, you're 10 local people, and you house rule something, I don't know what that house rule might be. You house rule perhaps that you can only have one of each rank keyword, captain, for example, right?
Yeah.
Now, it might be really easy to get that group of 10 people to all go, yeah, that's a good idea, actually. It's probably quite easy to do on the whole. You then take that group of people and you increase it to a group of 100 people that are playing at your local club, and you go, by the way, we're house ruling that ranks can only have one of each. You're going to have people in that 100 that then go, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's not the game.
So house rules become less accessible. So I think years and years and years ago, it was easier for us, especially with a lack of, perhaps we're part of the problem here, especially with a lack of YouTube and a lack of tournaments in general and match play that was run by Games Workshop. If you think about it, tournament play in 7th edition was a house rule. ITC format was Frontline Gaming's house ruled version of competitive 40k.
But that was... This is coming back to being the change you want to be. But that was ran and organised by a governing group of people that are willing to put in the effort.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it was a house rule, and if you went to that tournament, you accepted their house rules.
Yeah. But that wasn't one...
Hilariously, with what Ben's saying is, for the most part, what he's asking for is, well, you're not playing matched play because you're not at a tournament, so just play the codex, because all the balanced data set stuff is all match play stuff.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
But we've had people say this on the channel before. I'm like, if we do a stream tonight, and I don't know what you and Paddy are playing, let's say it's Tau versus Ravengard for sake of argument, right? If we did that and we didn't play balanced data slate, people are going to go, well, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to watch it.
But also, like, if you don't play balanced data slate, you'll get people that just won't turn up. Because they'll be like, why would I turn up? My army's shit without the balanced data slate.
Talking about turning up, Joe.
Yeah.
Mr. John McCullough just turned up in Gifts 20.
He's turned up.
Which means that you're now less than 50 away from a third Real Space Raiders box set.
Banging. Keep him coming, John.
You just need 50 gifted now and you're good.
Yeah, thank you, John. I hope, John, that you get to come to Atlanta on the Thursday and we can have a wonderful time together. I hope you can come on the Wednesday and then me and you can spend the day together.
Yeah? Naked?
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Walking around town. Although, what's America like in November? What's Atlanta like in November? I imagine cold as fuck.
Isn't Atlanta level with us? I can't remember.
I don't know. It looks like, I imagine it's a very London-esque grey town when it's...
Yeah, thank you so much for trying to gift today, mate. You're an absolute legend. Love you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Talking about big gifters, thank you, Walter Danes, for 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you.
Walter.
I hope that you are given a pet pig.
Fair. Love it. Plague of Shadows, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope that you get a big enough living room that you can put your own bar in it.
Nice. I'm into that. Thank you so much, Tank the Unknown, for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Tank, that You get a Star Trek-esque replicator in your kitchen.
A replicator?
Yeah. So in Star Trek, they don't have kitchens. They have replicas. They do have kitchens in some places. They have bars and stuff. But on like a starship, they have a replicator. They go, I would like hamburger and chips, please. And they just makes a hamburger and chips. Tank gets that because he's a good supporter of the channel.
Oh my God, a step-by-step conversion is a pain in the ass. Someone says it's 80, which is warm. It's warm, Joe.
Yeah?
Atlanta's in the south, it will be warm.
Well.
So, there you go.
Has ice storms in winter.
80 is 30, 50, 48, 20, 25-ish, 25 degrees Celsius.
Chance of freezing rain. I want snow.
Yeah?
I want good, cool snow.
You're not going to get that in Atlanta, I don't think. Thank you, Mad Larky, for the $5. What's your thoughts on the Valrak rumour of a plastic 40k Warhound Titan? Think it's actually something GW do, and what price? £250 to £300 is reasonable. If they sell a plastic 40k Warhound Titan at 250 to 300 quid, I will have one.
How much is the big Horus Heresy tank?
The Fellblades?
Yeah, how
that's
much
a
is
good
that?
question.
Because I reckon it would be 2 times that.
I looked at that the other day and then went to look for rules for it, and there isn't any 40k rules for it, which makes me sad. View all the Horus Heresy. The Fellblade Super Heavy is £125. Why are you phoning me now? Go away. £125.
They can't hear you unless you answer the phone.
Well, the thing is, they're probably hobby house related, so I don't actually want to tell them to go away, Joe. I just want them to go to voicemail.
I think it would be cool. I don't think it would happen.
I think it will.
It's just a case of like people complain when a box set's 150 quid, right? I think if they do it, it won't be a big run. It'll be a limited release. I don't see it being. It might be like a commemorative model or something. I don't see it being a full run, just because I don't think Games Workshop thinks that many people will buy it.
Fair. I think they think loads of people will buy it, because I think loads of people actually will buy it.
Oh yeah, like loads of people will buy it.
I think if you sold a plastic Warhound for 250 quid, I legitimately, honestly think they would fucking fly off the shelves.
Yeah, but how many are they selling? Right?
Loads. I reckon loads. Because
the
amount of people, I wonder the amount of people that have always wanted a Warhound but can't afford the fucking resin one. And actually 250 quid for a plastic one would suddenly become a lot more in reach. I reckon that I honestly believe as centerpieces for people's collections, not perhaps things that people are going to play at tournaments, I reckon they sell loads.
But how many are they selling? 10,000? 20,000?
I couldn't put a number. I don't know what they sell currently,
it's just
mate.
like, I think Games Workshop go, how many boxes of those are we realistically selling? Right? I think, like, how many Fellblades have they sold?
I reckon.
I think, obviously, the Warhound is more iconic. But I think Games Workshop would do a conservative 5,000 boxes and then see if they sell.
I went to find out the price of the Fellblade the other day as a potential super large centerpiece for my Ultramarines, because I was like, is there a way we can bring this into the narrative campaign? And then I figured there was no 40k rules for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't use it then because there's no 40k rules for it. If the Warhound had a 40k rule set and could be allied into Imperial forces at 250 quid, I reckon they sell a lot, honestly. Yeah. Genuinely believe they do. So I'm here for it. Do I think they will? I reckon they will at some point. Do I think it's soon? Nah.
I think the problem is with selling a Warhound is that you're spending 250, 300 quid on a display piece that you have to build and paint.
Yeah,
because you're not going to, because if they want to sell lots of them, they have to make it playable. Because people aren't rich at the moment.
Chat, question, right? There's 250 people in chat right now, right? Put a 1 in chat right now if you would buy a plastic Warhound at 250 quid.
Not a would like to buy, if you literally would.
If you would buy a plastic Warhound for 250 quid, put a 1 in chat. If you think, no, not a chance, I'd never buy one, 2.
Because I'd love to know how many people do these polls that Games Workshop go, oh, would you buy this if we made it? And people are like, yeah, I would buy it if you made it. And then it comes out and then people just don't buy it. They're like, no.
By the time it comes out, they've gone through 17 more price hikes. It's actually 500 quid.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just think it's a case of like I think people are smart in their selling and buying, and they'd go, I'd like to buy one, I'd love to own one, but 300 quid is way too much money for something for me to. And some people go to build and paint and put on a shelf and never use.
It's pretty balanced, although I reckon the 2s have it at the moment.
Yeah.
Although
John, that still only counts as one vote.
not if we buy all of those.
Yeah, John is the only person that buys one for every legion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're still 47 members away from a new Real Space Raiders box set as well, James.
The thing is, I think a lot of people go like, I don't have the skill to build and paint one to justify that money expenditure.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, I have a Warhound in my garage.
The old Chaos one.
The one that it looks like you had angry sex with it. It's
I
in that many
will
pieces.
explain to you what happened with that off air. I won't smash
And anyway,
his name on air.
It's in a fucking bucket and it's been in there for years. Because the thing is though, I need the time to truly dedicate to building and painting it and doing a good job. And even I'm like, I think I can do a good job. I don't think I can do a display piece level.
On Sunday, my Thunderhawk moved into the garage and is now set next to the airbrush booth.
Yeah. Yeah. Colonel Panic, I don't have the ability to ban you from the channel. But I would if I could. Right, I don't have the buttons. You can ban yourself.
Warhounds are cool as shit.
How very dare you?
Thank you, Soul, for the $10. Issue with narrative events is there is no way to stop tryhards who just want to win showing up. The other issue is that most content creators, being mostly competitive, will taint new players.
How can you say it's dog ugly? I'm still on this. The Warhound is a literal work of art.
It is a thing of beauty.
The Warhound is my favourite Titan.
Do we think that most content creators are competitively focused? Do we think that's the thing?
They have to be. I think we have proved through extensive numbers over years that narrative fun play is popular, but it doesn't make money.
Correct.
Right? And that's why YouTubers, content creators are so competitively forward-facing, because that's the one that the majority cares about and is willing to pay for, right? That's why when you watch Call of Duty streamers, it's all about, this is my build.
How do I get to the top? How do I win every game?
They tell you, like, watch me because I've got an 11.10 kill-death ratio.
Yeah.
You know, I think.
I don't think the most streamers are competitive though. I think that. Or most content creators are competitive.
I think the channels that do the best and are getting the most numbers are the ones that are hyper competitive focused. They're the ones that get the most numbers the quickest, right?
Maybe.
I think.
Who would you think is the most successful channel out there that does battle reports on YouTube?
Right, are we talking about over time or in the last couple of editions?
Let's say in the last 5 years.
I think Titan's doing exceptionally well. Play On doing very well.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. Tabletop Tactics.
Tabletop Tactics are one of the biggest, but they're not like, but they're doing well. But even they got their numbers started growing better when they did a league.
Yeah, but
right?
what Tabletop Tactics do, I would suggest that Tabletop Tactics are probably the most successful.
But they cater to both.
They have like 15 members of staff. They've got their own building.
Yeah.
They've got their own gaming venue already. Right. I would suggest they're probably the most successful. They offer a wide variety of content, from super narrative, role-playing, Dungeons and Dragons stuff, through to casual 40k games, through to a league and competitive stuff.
But their numbers, I would argue, are legacy numbers as well, right?
Maybe.
Because they've been going for donkeys. Yeah. Someone said Art of War Art of War since 8th edition have just skyrocketed, and they are solely competitive focused.
Yeah, they've also got the bonus of being competitively focused and not being douchebags.
But still, we're not talking about personality here. We're talking about what they focus on.
Personality does make a difference, though.
Personality helps, right?
Yeah.
But there's people on both of those two channels that I love watching, and there's some people I'm not fussed about watching. I could say worse words. I'm not going to list them.
Okay, Joe.
Thank you. I'm not going to say it. No, I'm joking.
Who do you hate on Tabletop Tactics, Joe?
No one.
Bearing in mind Lawrence watches the streams.
I love them all equally. No, I'm just saying. The thing is, though, like, it's not about whether liking them. It's all about personal preference. I like watching specific people because they play an army that I play. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I like watching Katie play. No offense, Katie, but she's not the best at the game, right? But she has got a very good personality, and she plays Tyranids.
Some people have the personality of a box.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That is a fucking goat comment.
No, I think, but even then, right, I need to say that, but even then, right, Tactics have taken on Mr. The Mike.
Rescued, some might say.
Rescued, you know, from a powdery ship. No, I think, like, but things are like, but I think Tactics is doing very, very well at the moment by catering more to the competitive people.
I still think they do a great job of catering.
Oh, they do a great job of doing both, but I think they've had to embrace competitive to do as well as they are.
Yeah.
Right? Because without the competitive, I think they get less numbers. Because people do watch going, the amount of times I've had comments going, that guy, his list is shit. Right?
That guy. I love it because it's not like we use your name all the way through the show.
That guy's Tyranid list is awful. He's taking all the worst things. He should be ashamed. Or like, why hasn't he got 3 of this? Why hasn't he got like 4 of that? It's just like people tune in for what they like, and I do think the more vocal part of the community is the more competitive part of the community, and they know what they want, right?
Yeah.
When I think the people that grumble that they want more narrative stuff don't grumble as much as the competitive.
Yeah, that's probably true. But you're right. The thing is as well, and this sounds like a cheesy segue here, and it's not at all. But you're right. You're also right about the monetization. So when we do fun, chill out, Garage Hammer, just like normal playing, when we talk about winning's not the be all and end all, and it's about having fun, we don't do as many members. We don't do as many super chats. If people think they're going to get their list reviewed in a competitive manner and improved, they're more likely to pay to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. But you know, hey. Thank you anyway for the $10, Manual Legend. Whitey, thank you for the $5. He says, if Crusade becomes their way to do narrative play, which it is currently, they need a new app that you can record all this sort of stuff in. Don't hand me paper to do the admin. Now, apparently, I didn't know this. I was illuminated by the community. There is an app that exists. It's not Games Workshop official one. There is an app that exists for tracking Crusade stuff. So you can currently do that digitally, which opens up a door for me personally to doing that in the future. But I thought about, with New Year, New Army, with Joe's Orcs, if he sticks to Orcs, he might switch to Drukhari, for example. With Tom, with whatever he's doing. With my Ultramarines, I thought about using Crusade. And I actually thought that, for the most part, especially for digestible content, Joe and I would probably do a better job just coming up with a narrative ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it'll be easy if I don't want to get to a point where 3 games in, you're going, what the fuck's going on?
So I think also this is another problem, right? Is the Games Workshop create narratives, right? They pick a planet for a thing to happen on, right? So they pick, right, Armageddon's the best example, right?
Armageddon!
Who are the main protagonists of Armageddon, or the main players on Armageddon, should I say, the goodies and the baddies?
How?
No, but you have illustrated my point perfectly, right? Is Orcs and the Imperium. Right? But Games Workshop has to go, how the fuck do we shoehorn Tau, Drukhari, Eldar, Tyranids, you know? How do we create a narrative? Dave's gone Steel Legion, Templars, Orcs, and Space Marines, But even the Space Marines is mental, right? Because you go, Blood Angels and Templars, I would argue, are the two main people of Armageddon, right? But you've also got Flesh Tearers, Celestial Lions, Imperial Fists, Salamanders, Dark Angels turn up randomly because they have to somehow horn in another Space Marine chapter because they have to get Chaos there. Why are Chaos there? Because Cypher's there.
More
kind
Chaos,
of thing,
more Space Marines.
Why are Drukhari there? Oh, because people exist on that planet and they want slaves.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a real hard job. That's why Games Workshop's in a lose-lose situation because they create narrative, but sometimes they just have to try and they go, here's that narrative for these people, right? The next narrative won't be about those people, and then the next narrative will be about another faction. That's why you've got Armageddon, Leviathan, what's it called? Pariah Nexus.
Yeah.
Right? They create these different narratives to affect it, but everyone goes, why is my army not involved? Why aren't I there?
Yeah,
You know?
and also that's
Where's new plastic Zopes?
well that works. So when you talk about making narrative events, it's the same principle, isn't it? How do you make a narrative event that caters to any single person? Because you can go, right, we'll have a narrative event. It's going to be Orcs versus Blood Angels,
Yeah.
right? Which is great, but then people go, well, I want to come and play a narrative event.
Well,
but
that's why you go, right, this can't be on a sole. This is why most narrative tournaments and events don't do a single planet. They do solar systems or a minor galaxy. Because obviously it's easy to go, on the fringe of this galaxy, Tyranids are turning up and they're working their way to the middle. At somewhere in this galaxy is an old tomb world. So Necrons are just there, right? They go, this is a hive city, which obviously has an uprising of Gene Stealer cult. And then this other hive city on a different planet, completely unrelated to that one, has
Herpes.
a Slanesh cult. But it's
herpes.
not just Emperor's Children, it's just generic Space Marines as well. Or, why are Orcs there? Because fighting.
Why not?
Yeah. It's a terrible job to do.
Yeah. Admin is a problem, but I think we'll come up with our own narrative rather than using Crusades. Thank you, Tank, for the $5. I would absolutely love a replicator. Also, I've forgotten how to claim the Jarls Plus giveaway. You're a Thane, Tank, so you can just WhatsApp me, mate, and I'll get it sorted in the next couple of days.
Say you win, you get it.
The bot tells me who won.
Yeah.
But
And the bot is PayPal?
no. And then thank you.
Today, this bot is £5,000.
Thank you, Soil50, for the one gifted membership.
Thank you.
We got to a grand total of 53, right? If by the end of the day we hit the day's target 200, I'll still buy you the box, Joe.
Nice.
So it's whether you and Paddy can do it, do the business this evening.
We always do the business, me and Paddy, and we play the game.
Yeah. Part of it's off camera.
I don't know what to play yet. I don't know what he's
Warhammer!
I might go Tyranids. I've not ran them for a while. Oh, I think we're Emperor's Children. I wrote an Emperor's
Do
Children
what he
list for the other
does.
day.
Wait and see what he's bringing, and then tailor so you can win.
I wrote a really fun Emperor's Children list to fight into Dan, and then I took Drukhari because I got excited last minute. But I had a list that had both Fulgrim and Terminators in.
So you like them?
Yeah. But I'll just lose because it's Paddy.
We'll see what he's playing.
Yeah.
That is tonight, chat. 7:30, we've got a live game of Warhammer 40k. It's Paddy versus Joe. Armies TBD. You'll see it at some point soon when I put the thumbnail up once Paddy's turned up. But he's due here in about 5 minutes, if that. Tomorrow, we've got the 40k show, the Warhammer show at 7:30 in the evening. And then on Thursday, we're back with another Liam and Joe show at 1:30 and another live game in the evening, which is currently supposed to be me versus Tom. Which inevitably ends up being me on the deck and Joe playing instead because I'll be tired.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I play the odds.
And then Friday in the evening, we've got After Dark at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point on Friday, I can cram in some Battlefield on Vag, ! Vag, if Joe's about.
I could run
possibly.
Drukhari.
You could run Drukhari.
I might run Drukhari tonight.
Okay, cool.
I have the book now.
We've got the new book, yeah. I bought the limited edition one because it was still available. Thank you, Rumble Briar, for the last $5. Thoughts on Harlequins being playable with Drukhari armies, but data sheets not being included with Codex, even on the app. They have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
AdMech are playable with Knights on the Grotmust attachments, but you don't get AdMech in the book. You can take Cultists with Chaos Knights with the Grotmust attachment. They're not available in the book.
But yeah, I think like obviously, if you play Imperium, right? If you play Guard, for instance, you can ally in Death Watch.
But this is
and
where
Grey Knights
this is
and
where
an
digital
Imperial
fixes
Knight.
some of these problems because
Yeah.
I don't see why if you bought this beautiful limited edition Drukhari book, which Joe really loves, I don't see why you couldn't pay perhaps a tenner as an upgrade in the app to just give you access to all the units you can take within the detachments. Because having that Harlequin detachment is Grotmus though, right?
Yeah.
There's no detachment here that lets you take non-Drukhari units.
I'd have to check the Harlequins rules, but you might still be able to take Harlequins as... Because Harlequins are limited to 0-1, aren't they, in the Eldar Codex?
Yeah, I think so far every detachment in a codex that says you can take models outside your standard faction includes those rules. That being basically, what's it called? Yunari.
It's got a little bird.
Yunari. But I don't know if there's any detachments in books that aren't Grotmus that allow you to ally two different things in.
I'd have to check the actual Harlequins rules.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because the Cotier is not, Combat Drugs is not, Cabalite is not, Sky Splinter is not, a Real Space is not.
Eldari, Codex Eldari.
There's a detachment specifically with rules around Harlequins. But that's not in the Codex though, right? That's Grotmus.
Yeah.
Because there's a Codex, there's a detachment specifically around including Admech for Knights, which is Grotmus. There's a detachment specifically around using cultists for Chaos Knights, which is Grotmus.
So when mustering your army, you can include Harlequins units from your army, even though they do not have the Azai Urani, unless otherwise stated. You cannot select Harlequins or Yunari as your. So Harlequins are locked to Eldar to the Yunari Codex. So you only have access to Harlequins as part of that detachment, which is a Grotmus one, not a Codex one. If it was a Codex one, then I imagine the Harlequins would be in it.
Yeah, if that was a Codex attachment, I would be pissed off that they don't have the units in the book.
Yeah.
Because it's a Grotmus bonus attachment, I don't have a problem with it.
But I would like to see them, now that Codex is out, go, actually, you do have access to Harlequins as a 0-1.
Yeah, I would. Choices. And I think that there's better ways they can monetize.
Because the Harlequins pop up in the Lilith book, don't they?
Harlequins do pop up in the Lilith book.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
But equally, Lilith is involved in the Yunari,
and
narratively, and she's been removed from the Craftworld's book and no longer can be taken in Yunari armies, despite the fact that she's very clearly in the Yunari narrative.
Yeah.
But hey. Anyway, like I said, we've got all those shows for the rest of the week. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the gifters, and thank you for all the super chats. You people are amazing. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button before you leave. Hopefully, we'll see you tonight at 7:30 for the Paddy Joe shit show, as it probably will be. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye. Have a wonderful time.